Hello, welcome to Driver's Seat and to the legend that is the Maserati Quattroporte, four-door by name and four-door saloon by nature. Now, it's been around since 1973 and has been the Italian gentleman's companion if he just didn't want to take the Ferrari out for the day. It's into its 6th generation now and has just had an update. At the front, there's a new bumper design and also a redesigned grille. Behind the grille is electrically operated air shutter, which helps reduce drag by up to 10%. The wing mirrors have been tweaked, whilst the side skirts are now finished in matte black. The rear bumpers are new and the lower sections also got a matte black finish. There's a new design to the dash to incorporate the new 8.4-inch high-definition infotainment touchscreen with revised air ventilation and controls underneath. Brilliantly, there's this new fold-down flap with a slide-out tray for your mobile phone with auxiliary and USB ports. In here, it is absolutely sumptuous. It's a beautiful place to be. Leather-wrapped surfaces all around, beautiful contrasting stitching. This has got the carbon fibre interior pack, so all the trim is finished in that carbon fibre look. I've got an electrically operated driver's seat with 2 memory buttons, which means I can actually get very comfortable and it gives me a very good range of adjustment. There's also electronically operated lumbar support. The steering wheel is also electronically operated with this little button down the side and has really good range of tilt and adjustment. So most should be able to find a comfortable driving position. Sitting here in the lower seating position, I've got decent headroom and it feels very spacious. My first observation though is that the footwell bends off slightly from left to right, so my left leg's a little bit further to the right than I'd like, and the accelerator is pushed out right to the right hand side, so I feel that my legs are being pushed towards the front tyre. There's a reasonable door bin in the side, a little cubby down by the driver's footwell, 2 cup holders under that, another little storage area there, and a very deep and well-sized storage bin in the middle with 2 more cup holders further down, and it's ventilated, whilst the glove box is split level and very well sized. And I know it's old and I know it's a little bit contrasting with the modern tech, but I really like the classic Maserati clock. Whilst the frameless doors are a big win for me, I really like them, but do watch your eye on the corner of the glass. Getting into the back is really helped by these huge opening doors, which means you can slide in quite elegantly. Once in, these seats are sculptured and really comfortable and supportive. Again, everything's wrapped in leather with the contrasting stitching and the carbon fibre trim. As you can see, I've got so much legroom, it's untrue. The bottom of the seat ahead is a little low down and a little bit cramped if you want to go full stretch out, but that's just being a little bit spoilt. But it's very, very comfortable in here. Headroom is decent at 5'9", a little bit taller, and you're going to start to brush the roof. The central transmission tunnel, however, is very wide and quite high, so that's going to restrict comfort for 3 people sitting here. However, leave it just to 1 or 2 in the back, pull the armrest down, use the fold-out cup holders. There's a little storage area as well with a USB connector, which is all very thoughtful. And if you don't want to be disturbed, well, you don't have to be. The boot is electrically operated and uses one of the best keys in modern motoring. It's huge and heavy, it just feels utter quality. The boot's really big, long flat floor, some underfloor storage which is deep and usable, a little net on the right hand side and a power socket. If you want to hold that up, just use the little clip. Quattroporte is available with 3 engines to choose from, 2 petrols and a diesel. The diesel's a 3-litre V6, whilst the entry-level petrol is also a 3-litre twin-turbo V6, whilst the more powerful petrol is a 3.8-litre twin-turbo V8. Trims available on the diesel include the Gran Lusso and Gran Sport, whilst the S, which is the 3-litre petrol, again gets the same Gran Lusso Gran Sport. The higher powered GTS again is available with the Gran Lusso and Gran Sport. Prices for the Quattroporte kick off at £70,520. We're testing the 3-litre V6S, which costs £82,750. That means we've got the 3-litre V6 petrol, and that develops 404 brake horsepower and 407 pound-feet of torque. That's enough to get this from standstill to 62 miles an hour in just 5.1 seconds. It manages to return 29.4 miles to the gallon on an official combined cycle and emits 223 grams per kilometre of CO2. Now brilliantly, peak torque arrives at a lowly 1750 revs and stays with you all the way through to 5,000. Peak power arrives at 5,500, so there's a lot of available oomph almost pretty much any time you want it. That means this pulls from low down and just keeps going until you run out of puff, have the joy of changing gear and get the pop from the rear exhaust. This has got an 8-speed ZF automatic gearbox, which is really silky in its delivery. Disappointingly though, there's no steering wheel mounted paddles. There is, however, a manual override. Just press the manual button on the dash and then you can change the gears sequentially by pushing up and down. The gearbox is clever as well, so if you've left the car in manual mode when you're driving last, it'll start again in manual, and likewise will do the same with automatic. It'll also learn your driving habits and then adapt its programming and reactions to suit. In manual mode, gear shifts are rapid and as quick as you'd want, but leave it in auto mode and want to suddenly overtake something and it does take a second or two to figure out the best gear and gauges before you can set off. As a driver, you've got an ability to change the operating modes with these buttons next to the gear lever. The top one is ICE, which is increased control and efficiency and makes everything just a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more quiet. Sport mode then tweaks the steering, gearbox response and exhaust note, whilst there's a sport suspension button on its own. Handling wise, this performs really well through a set of challenging bends. It stays super flat and the body is beautifully controlled. What does let it down though is the steering. It's always on the heavy side, even in the lighter of modes. Put it in sport and it becomes very heavy, but it's all electronically assisted. It all feels quite false actually. You don't ever feel connected with the car particularly, and it just seems to be a little bit delayed and a little bit fake. So that really takes away the driver involvement. What doesn't though is the howl that comes out of those quad exhausts at the back. It is absolutely beautiful. In fact, it encourages you more to change gear and sink that right pedal. As the howl reaches its crescendo, you change gear and that's accompanied by a pop, bang and wallop. It's just delightful. The Quattroporte is a sporting saloon, so it does have a firmer ride over harsher surfaces, and you will certainly feel things like road scarrings and manhole covers. The damping in this is absolutely beautiful. It's fantastically controlled over bumps. Visibility on the whole is pretty good, and there's a little window just behind the rear doors that helps out as well. But you've got to remember, this car is about 24 miles long. In fact, as you're leaving the motorway, the rear's just entered it. Blissfully, there are front and rear parking sensors and a very, very good rear view camera to help out when you're doing tight maneuvers or parking. The new infotainment system's really good. It's got a beautiful clear screen, some lovely graphics, and the sat-nav's really easy to use and clear and simple to follow. Even has a little emblem of the Quattroporte instead of the standard arrow to point out where you are, which is a lovely touch. The Quattroporte really does give you a very special feeling indeed. That Italian exuberance and the rear exhaust note is just divine. In here it's super luxurious, there's space for 4, lots in the back and a huge boot. Okay, it's not the be all and end all in handling, mainly down to the steering, but it's a really entertaining, sporting luxury saloon. Thanks for watching Driver's Seat. Remember to check out the full review on our website. Do subscribe to our channel for free and let us know what you think about the Quattroporte.